Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. I'm News Director Lee Pye here today with Izzie Inzinna, Sara, Lodespoto, Joshua Ribakove, as well as Chloe Kowalyk and Sports Director Matt Volz. With this top of the hour update, we'll bring you the latest of SUNY Fredonia's campus news and events, sports, weather, and music, as well as national and international news. First up, let's go to the event bulletin for this week. Fredonia Radio Systems is taking over the ice rink for the annual Rock and Skate fundraising event. There will be raffles, activities, food, as well as being able to skate on ice. The legacy show, High Noon Friday, is celebrating its 40th year anniversary by having an 80s theme for the event. Get all groovy on the ice rink in Steel Hall on February 23rd from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's it for the information through the grapevine. Next up, we'll bring it to Izzie for our latest campus news updates.
Resident assistant positions, also known as RAs, are hosting an information session tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. in the Science Center, room 122. The information session is designed to teach others about the RA position, and they will be taking applications until February 15th. An art exhibition is displayed in the Emmett Christian Gallery in Rockefeller 227. The art exhibit that is displayed right now is called Today's Bootstrap Architecture, created by Olivia Karasiewicz and Luke Johnson. The piece is only up for 2 more days until February 7th, and up until then, the exhibit is open daily from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's it for campus news. Now let's send it back to Lee.
Thanks, Izzie. Next up, we have local news. This past Friday, 36-year-old Jamestown woman named Lisa Height died in an officer-involved shooting that took place in Hamburg. The Town of Hamburg Police Department said Height was responsible for a burglary that took place on Willett Road and later a second home on McKinley Parkway, where the shooting took place. Quote, early in this investigation, we were made aware of an incident in the New York State Thruway involving a violent attack on a private transport van. We now know that Lisa Height, a short time before the Willett Road burglary, repeatedly and without provocation, stabbed a passenger in the van, causing extensive serious physical injuries to the victim. At some point during the stabbing, Lisa Height exited the private van just before and in short proximity to the address on Willett Road of the first burglary. The victim of the stabbing was rushed to the hospital by the van to receive emergency treatment for her extensive injuries to the face, shoulder, and head, end quote. The Hamburg police said that they were working at releasing a complete overview of the investigation and events and anticipate having a press conference on Tuesday. That's it for your local news update. Let's take it to the sports guy, Matt Volz.
Thanks, Lee, and good afternoon, everybody. Fredonia's hockey team went 2 for 2 this weekend with a pair of home games. On Friday, sophomore goaltender Charles Anthony Barbeau recorded his second shutout of the season in a 3-0 win over Post University. On Saturday, the team hosted its annual Pink the Rink night, where the Blue Devils wore special pink jerseys dedicated to people affected by cancer. Fredonia dominated Morrisville on the way to a 5-1 win, and after the game, each jersey was given to the family members of those whose names were on the back. Fredonia's women's basketball team also put on a show on Saturday, rolling over Buff State 63-46. The Blue Devils held a 27-9 lead at the end of the first quarter. The win improved Fredonia's record to 10-10 on the season, and they will return to action tomorrow as they face conference rival Oneonta in a neutral site game at Houghton. Tip-off is slated for 2 p.m. The men's basketball team recovered from a shaky first half to come back and beat winless Buff State on Saturday 57-52. Juniors Elian Dominguez and Keenan Roberts Jr. combined for 31 of Fredonia's points. The win snapped a 9-game losing streak and brought the Blue Devils' record to 6-14, and they'll be back at home tomorrow to face Oneonta at 4 p.m. The men's and women's swim and dive teams ended their regular seasons on Saturday at Cortland. In the women's meet, senior Kaylee Constantino took home 2 first-place finishes, once as an individual and once as part of a relay team. The women's team fell 182-85 to drop to 1-6 on the season. The men's events saw multiple athletes finish in the top 3, but ultimately fell 195-43. This year's SUNYAC Championships in Buffalo will begin on Wednesday, February 21st. And the men's and women's indoor track and field teams competed at Brockport this past weekend. Sophomore Cameron Sample finished 3rd out of 30 competitors in the long jump as Fredonia finished 12th as a team. The women's team had 2 pole vaulters and 1 jumper place in the top 10 in their respective events, as the women's team also placed 12th. Both teams will be heading to Staten Island this weekend for the New York City Gotham Cup. And Fredonia's Sport Management Department and its School of Business are preparing for their trip to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Dr. Carrie Fisher of the Sport Management Department and Dr. Linda Hall of the School of Business will be chaperoning the trip, as 14 students, myself included, will get the opportunity to work at the Super Bowl experience events in the week leading up to the game, as well as working in and around Allegiant Stadium during the game itself. The group departs tomorrow and will return on Wednesday, February 14th. That's it for your sports update. Now let's take it to Sara for the weather.
Now here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Hey y'all, good afternoon. Today is looking pretty bright like it was this past weekend with the windy 39. Just for everyone to know, it is National Weather Person's Day. So, if you're planning on getting me presents for your favorite weather girl, Amazon gift cards were great, but cash is better. Jokes aside, appreciate the people that tell you things like tomorrow's going to be in the upper 20s, tonight is going to be in the upper 20s and partly cloudy. I'm feeling happy about tomorrow since it's going to be a sunny with a high of 41. Even though there's going to be a light breeze, I'm going to schedule a nice walk because you have to appreciate the little things like a sunny day. Plus, it's the easiest way to de-stress from the mountain of homework I have. I'll probably save that task for later that night due to temperatures dipping into the mid-20s. That's it for your 2-day weather. Keep listening. I'll be back with your 5-day forecast. For now, let's take it to Lee for a local music update.
Ryan Terry is releasing his album Brand New Person and is playing a show for it at the Creek House. Ryan Terry, along with his 2 bands Hit Girl and Beach Tower, which what you're listening to right now, are performing on Saturday, February 10th. Doors are at 7 p.m. and music is at 8 p.m. DM Creek House IG on Instagram for the address. A show is happening at BJ's in downtown Fredonia. Last Call Entertainment is hosting Deluxe, Bone Machine, Garden Closet, and Spooky Visions. Come to BJ's at 51 West Main Street in Fredonia on Thursday, February 15th. Doors are at 9 p.m. and music is at 10 p.m. That's all I have for music news this week. Let's bring it to Josh for national and international news.
Over 500,000 Californians are without electricity today as a massive storm rages on in the Golden State. According to PowerOutage.us, about 520,000 consumers are without power, mostly people on the northwestern side. This atmospheric river storm also brings the threat of heavy rain to Los Angeles County, which is under the warning of multiple flash floods. The storm could drop as much as 8 inches of rain in the foothills and the mountains, and Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency yesterday, in which he stated, quote, California is ready with a record number of emergency assets on the ground to respond to the impacts of this storm, end quote. The conditions this storm are causing are life-threatening, and Governor Newsom advises people to remove debris and overhanging branches from nearby structures, as well as secure outdoor objects that could blow away. Major Russian tech company Yandex is selling their company that most consider to be Russia's Google over to Russia-based managers and oil company Lukoil. Yandex has made a deal of over $5 billion, a massively discounted price imposed by Moscow. The company, actually worth $10.2 billion, is being sold for about half its market value due to a discount the Russian government demands from deals involving foreign assets and investments. Yandex is responsible for a majority of Russia's web searches, food delivery, ride-sharing, and shopping apps. The group of Lukoil and 50 managers will seize about 95% of Yandex assets, and a spokesperson for the Kremlin, Dmitry Peskov, told reporters, quote, the company's Russian management will remain as the main owner. Of course, it's important for us that the company continues its operations in this sphere, end quote. A company that has always sought to portray itself free from Kremlin influence. As a company that's always sought to portray itself free from Kremlin influence, it's difficult to see how this can continue going forward with this change of management. Aircraft manufacturer Boeing has just discovered another problem in some of its 737 fuselages that may delay deliveries of about 50 narrow-body airliners. Spirit Aerosystems, a major supplier that sells fuselages to Boeing, has discovered improperly drilled holes in the fuselages. According to the CEO of Boeing's commercial division, Stan Deal, he stated, quote, while this potential condition is not an immediate safety issue and all 737s can continue operating safely, we currently believe we will have to perform rework on about 50 undelivered planes, end quote. This is the latest gaffe for Boeing, a company already under scrutiny after an event on January 5th that saw the emergency landing of a 737 MAX 9 after a door plug flew out after takeoff from Portland, Oregon. As the Federal Aviation Administration investigates quality control procedures for Boeing and its suppliers, the National Transportation Safety Board is also investigating the accident. That's all for today's national and international news. Let's bring it back to Sara.
Welcome back. Let's play a little Would You Rather. Don't worry, I'll start. Would you rather have bright, sunny days but cold temperatures, or have gloomy, cloudy days but slightly warmer temperatures? I don't know about you guys, but I prefer the first option. However, I think the weather for this week prefers the second one. With the high of 45, Wednesday becomes partly sunny out. Unfortunately, it looks like this will be the last day to get some real sunshine. So make sure you enjoy it while it's still here. While that evening dips into the low 30s, you might be able to see a sliver of the moon, which is called the waning crescent. The clouds slowly awake from their slumber on Thursday as it reaches 55 degrees. I blame the cloudiness on the stronger breeze that's coming in. It woken them up too early from hibernation, in my opinion, especially because you can't see the night sky with the cloudy overcast as temperatures dropped to the low 40s. Noticing the mud was a little too dry, Friday holds rain and high wind speeds while it remains in the low 50s. Bad news is that I have rugby practice that day, and I'm not sure if it's indoors or outdoors. If it's outdoors, y'all don't look at me because I'll be doing the walk of shame with mud up to my ankles and who knows elsewhere. It's not going to be any better that evening since we're getting more rain with a mixture of drizzle as it descends to the mid-40s. That's it for your 5-day forecast. Let's take it right back to Lee.
That'll wrap up for today's edition of News at Noon. Campus News is written by Lee Pye and read by Izzie and Inzinna. Local news for this broadcast is prepared by Lee Pye. Weather is presented by Sara Lodespoto. Sports is presented by Matt Volz. Music is prepared by Lee Pye. National and international news is prepared by Joshua Ribakove. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by Kowalyk. Thanks for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. From all of us at Fredonia Radio Systems, have a lovely day.